I want to call to order the January 31st, 2018 meeting of the Disabled Access Appeals and Advisories Board. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lee, could you please do the roll call for the DAB members?
Board members Kevin Sterling,
Present.
Ryan Rose,
Present.
Anne-Marie Stores.
And now we'll have the swearing in of the new board member, Anne-Marie R. Stores, by the city clerk.
Swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
The next item on the agenda is the board reorganization. I would like to see if there's any nominations for the chair from the board. Do we have a nomination?
I want to go ahead and nominate Kevin Sterling for the head, the chair of this board.
I'll accept the nomination.
Do all the members, do we have any other nominations, first of all? All the members, please vote by saying aye to affirm the nomination.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Kevin, you've been sworn in as the chair, so I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay.
Kevin, could we have you move down to the center?
Sure. Okay, so let's get to our first can we have a nomination for vice chair? Any nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to volunteer my services to you as vice chairman, if you'd like.
Any objections for board member Rose being vice chair? Okay. Can I get any support by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ryan Rose, you're now vice chair. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Now, can I get some public comments? Okay, there's no speaker. All right, now we have Mike Pedestrian from Public Works to... Our first report will be the curb outs construction status by Mike Pedestrian.
Well, thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for the opportunity to provide you with an overview of city curb ramp program within public right-of-way. My name is Mike Tuhedian, Senior Engineer in the Public Works Department. The best way to provide you with the overview is, I believe, to discuss the city ADA transition plan. In 2014, the city developed a 30-year ADA transition plan to complete the installation of all the necessary curb ramps within city public right-of-way to meet ADA standards. We updated the plan in 2016 as shown by this cover, and we plan to update the plan again in 2018. Here is a summary of the ADA transition plan as of end of 2016 program. The main project that installs the required curb ramps within the city is city biannual pavement overlay and resurfacing program. There are two reasons for that. One is from a regulatory standpoint, every time we alter the city streets in a substantial manner, we have to bring the curb ramps into the compliance. And the other reason is practical, from a practical point of view, and we really want to tear up the streets only one time when we either repair, cold plane, or other activities on the streets. That's the time to install the curb ramp so we don't have to come back and tear up the streets again. So there's three types of, I know this is a busy table, but I'll go through a couple important features of it. There are three types of work being performed on curb ramps. One is new installation where we don't have any curb ramp. The other one is when we have an existing curb ramp, but it has minor deficiencies, such as it doesn't have the truncated dome, or it may have a lip at the gutter, or it lacks the groove to meet the latest ADA standards. The second category, or the third category, I should say, is when we have an existing curb ramp, but it doesn't meet either the dimensions or the slope of the requirement, and we have to saw cut and remove the entire curb ramp and reconstruct it. So as of 2014, we needed about 4,000. We needed to install about 4,000 curb ramps. In 2014, I hope you can see, we installed 531. It's the very first column on the upper left-hand side. We installed 530 curb ramps. In the following, or rather in 2016, we installed 397 curb ramps throughout the city public right-of-way. And in 2018, we anticipate or project to install over 300 curb ramps. as part of the biannual pavement overlay, so what we call 2018 overlay program. I'd like to point out that in 2018 we were projecting, based on the ADA transition plan, to spend about $800,000 in curb ramp program. And as you can see in the next slide that I'll cover, we're spending over $1 million. So we're ahead of our schedule. We're spending more on the curb ramp program, so we'll be able to possibly finish the program early or spread it over a shorter period of time. Again, as of 2016, we had 2,800 curb ramps remaining. You see that at the bottom of the page. So here's a map of our upcoming 2018 overlay program. As you can see, it's scattered. It's a pretty large size program, roughly about $50 million expenditure, and over $1 million of that is being spent on curb ramp installation. As I said, over 300 curb ramps will be installed. Here's a photo of a location that it's being under consideration. There is no curb ramp. We would be installing one in 2018. We do anticipate to start in April 2018 and finish in the fall. So in addition to the biannual pavement program, the city also installs curb ramp as part of pedestrian and sidewalk projects. So I'll go through a few of active projects that we are working on. The first one is on Westlake Boulevard between US 101 and Triumphal Canyon. We plan to install 20 new curb ramps and over 4,000 feet of sidewalk. A photo of showing the need for the sidewalk on Westlake Boulevard to the right, and to the left, we're also trying to, we will be improving the crossings at US 101 at Westlake. We'll be enhancing the crossing and installing certain devices. That project is anticipated to start in May 2018. Next project is on Rancho Road, where we will be installing over 1,000 feet of sidewalk and 8 curb ramps between Thousand Oaks Boulevard and City Transit Center, Holland Drive, to provide better accessibility and connectivity to the transit center. Here is a photo of the existing situation. We do anticipate to be in construction by spring 2019. Next project is on Canoe School Road and Willow Lane, where we between Hillcrest and Hampshire Road, we will be providing a continuous path of travel within that limit. We'll be installing about 17 curb ramps and over 3,000 linear feet of sidewalk. This project is on an expedited schedule. We anticipate to be in construction by fall 2019. We just started the design of it, but as I said, it's on an expedited schedule. These are the photos of existing condition on Willow Lane on the right-hand side. Well, they're both on Willow Lane, actually. Next is, and the last project that we have active is on Moore Park Road between Alston Road and the YMCA. We're going to install 10 curb ramps as part of that project and over 2,000 linear feet of sidewalk. To the left is a photo of the existing condition, and to the right is the rendering of what it's going to look like when it's done. And that one is slated to be in construction this summer. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is there any questions from the board? Board recognizes Board Member Rose.
Quick question, sir. How much longer, just for my knowledge, will it take to complete all the curbing and the sidewalk? Is that a long-term type of project for the city, or is this?
Yes, and there is a difference between the curb ramp and sidewalk. We do have an inventory and a priority list for sidewalk program within the city. And as we get either grants, as several of these projects that I went through, they all have federally funded with city contribution as well.
Okay.
That's one way to be able to program these projects by getting federal grants because of limited resources that the city has. The curb ramp program, as I mentioned, it is essentially on a 30-year plan. So technically, we started in 2014. We do anticipate by 2044. I know it's down the road, but and as I said, we're ahead of it. So hopefully we'll finish earlier than that. But that again, because it's tied to the overlay program and the funding, even though we do have dedicated funding for the curb ramp in every budget cycle. Like this year, we are subsidizing because, like I said, the requirement is where you touch a street, when you overlay, you have to bring all the curb ramps into compliance. So there may be a year, like this year, that we're going to be touching almost over 50 miles of city network. So that's a lot of locations. So this year we are subsidizing the curb ramp program. We're adding another 200,000 at least to what it was supposed to be.
I have one question. I know there's thousands of sidewalk worth of sidewalks you're going to be doing. Not thousands, but a lot of sidewalks you're putting in. One of the areas that I'm kind of wondering is on Hillcrest. Going from Westlake Boulevard toward Duesenberg on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side. Is there a potential sidewalk and curbing?
I'm sure it's been inventory by us and it's been ranked. Like I said, we do maintain a priority list.
Oh, okay.
I'll be happy to look up, what's
just for my knowledge. I take my dog up there, hiking, so I didn't know if that was on the.
Well, I'm sure we've already ranked the location.
Okay.
So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? No? Okay. Thank you, Mike. Also, in regards to the walkway on the corner of Westlake Boulevard and Townsgate, over by the Carl's Jr., I'd like to thank the Public Works Department for correcting the gap in the sidewalk, now making it possible for access to the hospital. But also, one other request is that they continue the sidewalk on the other direction of Westlake Boulevard in order to access the bus stop. It's currently a sloping dirt, which is not safe for anyone, especially people in wheelchairs. So if we can, it would help us, the disabled, use the bus system.
Sure. I'm happy to again announce that by May of this year, we'll be working on the sidewalk on Westlake Boulevard. I believe the location you're talking about. So by fall we should have the construction completed.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Now we have the California Lutheran University Science Building report, reported by Valerie Crooks, the Senior Project Manager.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Valerie Crooks from California Lutheran University. I am their Senior Project Manager, but today our presentation is going to be done by our Assistant Project Manager, Christine Cano. Christine is actually a licensed architect in the state of California, and she looks after a lot of our accessibility components to our new construction.
Hello. Hello, thank you for having us here. We're excited to tell you about the new project at Cal Lutheran. As Valerie said, I've been working with her since 2010 at Cal Lutheran. We've done a lot of projects together, and our university is experienced and active in designing for a diverse population, not only disabled wheelchairs, but also our students, perhaps they're injured athletes. We have faculty that have with vision impaired guide dogs and other issues. We always consider how our buildings are accessed and try and do a good job on that. So I'm here to present the new science building. It is part of our master plan. So let's see here. First, I'm going to give you an overview of the building and how it fits into our campus. And then I'll go over the different levels and what functions are going to be on those levels. And then we'll look at the individual spaces and how we've made accommodations within the workspace. And lastly, we'll go over the schedule of the project. And here we see a perspective of the southeast side as you would approach from our south of campus, our academic building called Swenson Center, walking up the pedestrian spine. So our new science building will be a 3-story building, 47,000 square feet, approximately 15,000 square feet per level. The new building is being built to implement new wet labs for our biology and chemistry departments, and also we'll be providing large exercise labs for exercise science, biomechanics labs. We'll show you floor plans later after we review the site plan and access. So the building is located in the center of campus, as I said, per our master plan. Oh, yeah, that's right. So what you see on the screen here is a copy of our master plan. It's located just south of our existing science building, and there will be a bridge connection between the two on the second level. Amundsen Science Center will continue to be in use for dry labs and physics, geology, and biology and chemistry will, for the most part, all the wet labs will be in the new building. So we're not intending on adding students to this program. Our current population of students undergraduate is 2,600, and that's where we're intending to be. So this is just enhancing our existing program, and we're also going to go ahead and use the existing parking spaces that we have on campus for the existing student population. So on this diagram, you see the overall site plan, and in the center, the large white space is the footprint of the new science building, and the blue lines around it, let me see if you can hear. There's my cursor. So the blue lines are showing accessible routes to the science building. So this on the right is our main pedestrian spine that runs through all the way through our center of our campus, from the south to the north. And this is the core of our academic precinct. So the main entrance for the new science building will be off of that pedestrian spine here. And then another entrance on the first and second level will be on this north side. And so that'll allow access from the Amundsen Science Center and coming from the north. And then from the south, where we have our Swenson Center, there will be an accessible path here, and there will be a 2-story gathering space lobby on the south entrance. So those 3 sides are our main student access. We do have another entry point on the west side. We're looking at that more of a back door. Oops, what happened? We'll have deliveries and such going to and from here this way. So this is not a desire. I mean, it's an accessible point, but it's not the main entrance, and you'll see that in the floor plans. Okay. So this perspective is from the north side. Again, you'll see the main entrance here off of the pedestrian spine. And on the north side, you'll see the bridge that will connect to Amundsen on the second level. And again, you can enter at that point from the north as well. Now we'll go over the floor plans. There's 3 levels. And this is the first floor plan. I went ahead and gave some color to help identify. So in the rose color, we have exercise science labs. We have biomechanics and exercise physiology. And then in yellow, we have teaching and research labs for biology. So down here on the south, we've got a marine biology teaching lab and a marine biology research lab. And then we have neuroscience teaching and research on this side. We also have one chemistry space, which is in the sort of blue, lavender blue. It's an NMR room. So on the ground floor, both exercise science and the NMR are sensitive to vibration. So we've located those on the first floor. And it's nice. On the first floor, we've got science on display. Each department has something. So as you experience the building, as you enter on the first floor, you'll experience each of the different departments. On this floor, the circulation on the interior, we already went over the exterior. So this is that main entrance off of the pedestrian spine. And there'll be a little lobby, gathering space, some area for setting up events or something. So then off of the south entrance here, there'll be a 2-story space. These dashed lines here show that it's open to the level above. But we'll have student lounge, study areas, etc. here. And then the north entrance here feeds right into that main gathering space. The elevator is in the center of the building for vertical circulation, so that it'll be easy to go up and down and access each part of the building. The other part on this first floor in green are faculty offices, and on each floor, the purple show where the restrooms will be located. Let's see. Lastly, we have the stairwells on either side. The west side is an exterior stairwell, but covered. And this one on the east side will be an interior stairwell with a glass enclosure. So, let's see. I think I got everything there. On level 2, in yellow, we have the biology labs. So we have 3 teaching labs and 3 research labs. There's molecular microbiology on the right. We have biochemistry and virology here with an equipment room off of that space. We have cell developmental genetics on this side, and then research labs. We also have stock room and a prep room so that the experiments can be prepared, and then the carts will take the preparation to the different labs, as well as across the bridge to Amundsen Science Center if necessary. And then again, we have the offices and the restrooms. And in between the circulation here, you've got an entrance point from the north, from the bridge, circulation from the stairwells and the elevator around here. We have 2 study spaces, actually 3. There's one here, and here, and then 2 conference rooms. And the third level on the top, we have chemistry. So we have 4 teaching labs and 2 research labs. The one research lab here for synthetics is shared, so it's 2, and another one here. And then these are teaching labs with a stockroom, prep room in the middle, another storage area here, offices and restrooms. So the circulation here is the same, passing through with just a study area here and a collaboration space for graduate students. So now we move into individual labs. This is just an example. What we've done in each lab, our lab planner has designated or shown that we are considering, or that we know we have to consider ADA standards. So we have in each lab at least 1 counter with a sink, 1 student workstation that's at 34 inches instead of 36, and then fume hoods. If there's a fume hood in the room, there will be 1 fume hood at ADA standard height. So the way they designate it here is with the stippled marks. And then in the lower plan, the tables, all of these in the middle are movable height tables, or the movable tables with adjustable height, so they can be adjusted as needed. So I can't do the links. Okay, in the picture on the right, you'll see one of the labs. So you see the open sink, the sink with the open access underneath, and the biosafety cabinet and a fume hood all at the ADA level. And again, these tables are adjustable height. On each level, we have this configuration of restrooms. And what, as I mentioned earlier, our campus works hard to be inclusive and design for diversity. And what we have decided to do in this building is design a gender-neutral restroom on each level. So this is an open restroom with individual rooms. The walls will go full height with closed doors. The door will be double swing. So one thing we are aware of is the difficulty of getting in and out with a wheelchair. You know, one way or another, you're going to have difficulty opening it. So this will be a double swing door. And then we have our toilet rooms. In each toilet room, there's a single-use toilet across the hall here. This is a multi-stall restroom. This accessible toilet room and the single-use toilet room over here, each will have a sink within it, and they're large enough that if need be, an aide to assist there's enough room for that. The other things in this restroom is our full height mirror will be here. What we've heard is, we don't just want above the counter mirrors, but to be able to see all the way to the ground. So we've got that incorporated here. And the sinks in both restrooms are these Bradley Advocate sinks. I'm sorry, this picture is small, but what we have is a sink. There's 2 sinks in this picture, and they are all in one. They're at accessible height. You get the water, you get the soap, water, and then dryer is right there. So you don't have to reach for soap or the dryer. And that's in all of the restrooms. Okay. So this is just another perspective. The southwest and the northwest And this is a Photoshop rendering of, again, from the south off of Faculty Street, what it would look like to see the 3-story building in the center of our campus off of the pedestrian spine. And for overall schedule, currently we're in design development with our architects and design team, our lab planners. We expect to be complete with that at the end of March. We'll be working on construction documents then through July. We hope to do site grading and site utilities starting after commencement in May and completing by September. And then we'll move into submitting the construction documents for building and safety plan check, targeting in October. And we hope to have our general contractor under contract by December of 2018, the end of this year, and construction to start in 2019. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Christine. Any comments from the board? Board recognizes board member Stores.
I have a question about emergency rescue and facilities, and I'd like to know how you're addressing that, especially for people with wheelchairs.
So the procedure for people with wheelchairs is that they go to the exit points, which are the stairs and the landings in the stairs, and then rescue personnel will come and carry them down the stairs. The elevator itself has an emergency recall. If you are in the elevator, it recalls itself down to the first floor and it opens. It's on a battery backup. So if we lose power, it recalls down to the ground floor, opens the door, and a person can get out. The procedure, though, if we have a fire and there is a need to evacuate people with disabilities, they either wait at the landings for the fire people to come and assist them, or if there are people in the building who are willing and able to do that and assist them to evacuate, they'll help them get down the stairs. One of the interesting notes about the site plan is that we've been working very closely with the fire department on the ability to get their emergency vehicles in and around the 3-story building, most particularly their ladder truck, which they would need to get up to the upper floors. And as a result, we are taking out a number of the existing planters that are down the middle of the pedestrian spine to give them a full 25-foot width and the ability to set up a ladder truck and access the building and get in through windows, get into any other point that they would need to effect a rescue.
Are there any refuge places that someone can wait?
That's the stair landing.
That's the stair landing.
Those landings are designated as areas of refuge, and that's where the firefighters go to look for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw they're quite spacious.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Board recognizes board member Rose, Vice Chair Rose.
Good afternoon. Hi. Just a quick question for my own personal knowledge. What's on the site currently? What is there right now?
In order to make room for this building, well, right now it's a park-like space. There was the F building. It was the last of the old ranch buildings. And over Christmas break or the student break, we took down F building and A and B building. So right now it's an open space.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Also, I assume there will be proper access in and out of the building, but I'm also concerned with the ability of disabled students to comfortably manage in the labs or classrooms. I'd also ask that the lab stations be designed so that both the right-handed and left-handed students can access necessary equipment like drawers, lamps, electrical, all that, etc. It is my experience in the past as being a student from Kalu and with the ADA, they don't usually address it. Invariably, though, a left-handed person's needs may not be suitable as a right person. Also, I would also suggest that when designing the workstations, they be done with an adjustable height feature. There's a wide discrepancy between dimensions of manual and power chairs, or people that had that their ligaments aren't quite, they're not able to use. So that the joysticks in the wheelchair can also fit beneath the desk. For this reason, the table aprons should be eliminated or deeply reassessed in the desk designs.
I'd just like to make a note that one of the driving forces behind us building this new building is the fact that we do need to provide STEM teaching facilities that are current and meet the current code requirements and the requirements of people with disabilities. The Amundsen Science Center, our existing science teaching facility, dates back into the 80s and is clearly outdated. The new building provides us with the opportunity to update all of those facilities, and so the positioning now of the fume hoods, the design of the fume hoods allows you to access either from the left or the right, so it would just simply be a matter of positioning a left-handed student so that it was convenient for them and vice versa. The arrangement of the tables in some of the teaching labs, not only are they adjustable up and down, but they are movable. And so we have the ability to configure labs and make all the required accommodations. We now have the ability to take our equipment, our experimental equipment, and put it out in more open, especially designed areas so that people can get at the equipment easily and run the instrumentation. Right now, what we have are very cramped conditions, limited on the outlets, limited on the services, unable to move things around very easily. So moving into the new lab facilities with a lot of flexibility and adaptability is going to really enable us, I think, to serve our student population a whole lot better, and we're looking forward to bringing that online.
That's fantastic. Thank you. All right. Is there any other comments? Vice Chair Rose?
Quick question for you. The Amundsen building that you guys is that the science lab, correct? Is there anything in the works has it already been modernized to today's standards, or is there potential to make it a little bit more modernized to today's standards down the road?
That is actually our plan. As soon as we're able to move all of the wet science facilities over into the new science building, the Amundsen Science Center is going to be completely renovated. All the existing systems are going to be ripped out. We plan to remodel that building to handle our dry sciences, being able to consolidate physics into there, provide some better math facilities, biology, some of the teaching functions will still be there, but it will give us the opportunity to go through, completely rip out everything and completely modernize and bring that building up to code at the same time. But it's one of those things, you know, you need 2 bathrooms basically sometimes in your house, because you're going to rip one of them apart and you need somewhere to function. So we're looking forward to starting that programming and starting that planning process for the Amundsen Science Center, because it won't be long before fall of 2020 is here and we're able to start working on Amundsen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other comments? No? Okay. Thank you, ladies. Our next item is any board comments? No? Okay. That's all we have, so we will adjourn now. Our next tentative meeting will be on March the 28th of 2018. Thank you all.